Hello, this is Anvati. Welcome to the news with NDTV. It's Tuesday, July 22nd, and coming up in today's episode, phone calls surprise threats. What led to Jagdeep Dhankar's surprise resignation? Supreme Court upholds Uttar Pradesh's QR order against restaurants and dhabas for Kanwar yatra. SBI labels Anil Ambani a fraud, and US threatens to crush Indian-Brazilian economies over Russia sanctions. Shocking politicians, media persons and general public. India's 14th Vice President till yesterday, Jagdeep Dhankar, resigned out of the blue last evening, merely hours after chairing the first day of the monsoon session of Rajya Sabha. While the former Vice President cited health concerns as his motivation, political and media corridors are abuzz with rumors that this was a politically motivated decision as a result of a fallout from a government he's always been accused of favoring. Congress leader K.C. Venugopal said it is surprising that in the middle of his term, the Vice President is resigning suddenly and unexpectedly. Health grounds is the only concern or not, the government needs to give clarification. Let us see what happens. While Congress's Imran Masood told NDTV, कुछ तो राज है जिसकी पर्दादारी है, अब इसमें किसकी हिस्सेदारी है ये देखना है. Or, there has to be a secret that is being guarded and we need to find out who has contributed to this surprise resignation. He also added that it is unfortunate that the Vice President of a country is being made to resign this way. He was perfectly fit until yesterday. He had meetings also lined up. He was out of meeting people yesterday. Then too, how is it that he suddenly became so unwell that he had to resign from his post? There is more to this, unquote. Interestingly enough, the 74-year-old had said earlier this month, in fact, that he would retire at the right time, subject to divine interventions. The opposition Congress has remarked that there is more to this resignation than meets the eye. In his letter to President Draupadi Murmu, Mr. Dhankar said his resignation would be effective immediately and thanked her and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In fact, Prime Minister Modi tweeted that he's wishing Mr. Dhankar good health in the future. His tenure in the second highest office of India was marked by regular run-ins with the opposition and strong comments on the judiciary over the issue of separation of powers. This chain of events seemed to have been set off by the opposition-sponsored motion to remove a judge, Justice Yashwant Verma, after massive cash recovery from his home. According to insider sources, NDTV has learnt a phone call from the centre snowballed into a face-off, leaving the Vice President with little choice. The sources have also indicated that Jagdeep Dhankar's resignation may have saved him from the disgrace of a government-backed no-confidence motion. At the centre of it is the opposition-backed notice for Justice Yashwant Verma's impeachment. During the Rajya Sabha's monsoon meeting yesterday, opposition MPs moved the notice, and Mr. Dhankar, chairman of the upper house, accepted the notice and asked the House's Secretary General to take necessary steps. This move, according to the sources, did not sit right with the centre. According to sources, the centre dialed the Vice President and flagged this. The Vice President responded with sharp remarks, and the conversation soon turned into an argument, and in the heat of the argument, the Vice President, sources have said, even cited the powers of his office. Following the acrimonious phone call, rumblings began of a move to bring a no-confidence motion against Mr. Dhankar. Just 6 months after the opposition brought such a motion against the Vice President. Mr. Dhankar, a veteran politician, got wind of this and opted to step down instead of being shown the door. And at 9:25 p.m. yesterday, the official handle of the Vice President shared a resignation letter addressed to President Draupadi Murmu, thanking her and Prime Minister Modi. State Bank of India has classified Reliance Communication along with promoter director Anil Ambani as fraud and is also in the process of lodging a criminal complaint with CBI. Parliament was informed on Monday. The entities were classified as fraudulent on June 13, 2025 in accordance with the RBI's master's directions on fraud risk management and the bank's board-approved policy on classification, reporting, and management of frauds. Minister for State, Minister of State for Finance Pankaj Chaudhary stated in a written reply to the Lok Sabha. This is not the first time Ambani and Reliance Communications were tagged as fraud accounts. The bank had earlier classified the account and promoter as fraud on November 10th, 2020 and filed a complaint with the CBI on January 5th of 2021. However, Mr. Chaudhary said the complaint was returned in view of the status quo order dated January 6, 2021 by the Delhi High Court. Meanwhile, a Supreme Court judgment dated March 27, 2023 in the State Bank of India and others versus Rajesh Agarwal and others case mandated that lenders provide borrowers with an opportunity to present before classifying their accounts as fraud. Accordingly, he said the fraud classification in the account was reversed by the bank on September 2nd, 2023. The fraud classification process was rerun and the account was again classified as fraud after following the due process as per RBI circular dated July 15, 2024. SBI's exposure to Reliance Communications is substantial. The bank is owed 2,227 crore rupees in fund-based loans along with interest and charges dating back to August 26, 2016. The bank also has non-fund-based loans of 786 crore rupees approximately through bank guarantees. So the total that SBI has at stake here is over 3,000 crore rupees. Reliance Communications is still under insolvency proceedings initiated in March of 2020 under Insolvency and Bankruptcy Court 2016. Its resolution plan has been approved by its Committee of Creditors and submitted to the National Company Law Tribunal in Mumbai. A final decision from the tribunal is still pending. SBI has also initiated personal insolvency proceedings against Anil Ambani. Anil Ambani, once the owner of Reliance Telecom, faced many legal troubles after defaulting on loans. Last month, Reliance Communications had said it had received a letter on June 23rd from SBI on its decision to classify the loan account of telecom firm as fraud and report Ambani to the RBI. And in 2019, it had decided to file for bankruptcy after failing to sell assets and pay a debt of around 45,000 crore rupees. The Supreme Court on Tuesday declined to intervene in a plea regarding the Uttar Pradesh government's directive requiring eateries along the Kanwar Yatra route to display QR codes revealing the names of the owners and the staff. A bench of Justices M. Sundaresh and N. Koteshwar Singh disposed of the petition, noting that the Kanwar Yatra is coming to an end. Quote, "We are told that today is the last day of the yatra. Therefore, at this stage, we only pass an order that all hotel owners shall comply with the statutory requirement of displaying their license and registration certificate," unquote, the court said. The bench added that it was not examining any other issues raised during the hearing. The petition filed by academician Apurvanand Jha and others argued that the QR code system leads to religious profiling of business owners and is discriminatory. Senior advocate Abhishek Manu Singhvi, appearing for the petitioners, said that the circular ostracizes establishments owned by the minority community. "I boycott food based on the menu, not on someone's surname." Singhvi further criticized the QR code initiative, stating, and I'm quoting, "This is the most divisive initiative possible, as if these people are untouchables. The QR code reveals identity instead of food quality." Appearing for the Uttar Pradesh government, senior advocate Mukul Rohatgi defended the directive, explaining that it was introduced following law and order concerns during the last year's Kanwar Yatra. Quote, "Last year there were incidents where Kanwarias ransacked dhabas over these issues. That's why the police authorities issued this order." Justice Sundaresh remarked during the hearing, "I am basically agnostic. I have no problem at all. But there are some who won't even touch certain foods. There are people in the country who won't eat in their brother's house if the meat is cooked there. That is their sentiment." Senior advocate Huzaifa Ahmadi, also representing the petitioners, argued that religious identity should have no bearing on food service. "These establishments serve only vegetarian food. The identity of the owner has nothing to do with it," he said. The court clarified that food businesses must prominently display their official licenses. but did not rule on the QR code requirement, effectively closing the application. US Senator Lindsey Graham has warned Russia's trading partners, including India, China, and Brazil, basically the BRICS, and threatened the countries that if they keep buying cheap oil from Russia, they are going to tear the hell out of you and we're going to crush your economy. This is in quotes. The Republican lawmaker said that Trump administration was planning to impose a 100% tariff on oil-related imports, fueling Russian President Vladimir Putin's campaign against Kyiv. He claimed that three countries account for around 80% of Russia's crude exports, which keeps Putin's war machine going. Quote, "What you, India, China, and Brazil are doing is blood money. Putin is not going to stop until somebody makes him stop," unquote. In a direct warning to Russia, Graham said, and I'm quoting again, "The game has changed when it comes to you, President Putin. You have played President Trump at your own peril. You made a major league mistake and your economy is going to continue to be crushed," unquote. Graham claimed that by invading countries that do not belong to him, Putin was trying to recreate the former Soviet Union. Quote, "Putin wants to take countries that are not his. In the mid-90s, Ukraine gave up 1,700 nuclear weapons with the promise that Russia would respect its sovereignty. Putin broke that promise." These fiery remarks seem to be the result of Trump's increasing frustration with Putin's disinterest in ending the war, which Trump had promised to bring an end on the first day of his second tenure. Despite it being 7 months since Trump's re-election, the conflict between the neighboring countries just seemed to be worsening by the day, with no imminent end in sight. Tired of Moscow's reluctance to reach a truce deal, Trump last week announced new weapons for Ukraine and threatened biting secondary tariffs of 100% on the buyers of Russian oil unless there is a peace deal in 50 days. Following this, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte threatened countries such as Brazil, China, and India with secondary sanctions if they continue to do business with Russia. Quote, "My encouragement to all these countries, please make the phone call to call Vladimir Putin and tell him that he has to get serious about peace talks because otherwise this will slam back on Brazil, on India, on China in a massive way." That's all for today. You were listening to the news with NDTV, your daily newspaper and TV bulletin wrapped in a compact podcast. If you want to catch up with the day's event in a hurry, please subscribe to the News with NDTV on Apple, Spotify, and the NDTV News app. This is your host, Anil, signing off.